Many thanks for the questions coming in on the GCSE PE exams being cancelled. The first question is what is happening with grading? So you're still going to receive a grade. You're going to receive a grade between 1 and 9, but what is changed is this won't be based on an external exam and is very likely to be based on a teacher assessment. What does teacher assessment actually mean? We're not 100% sure yet, but it's likely that teachers may get some flexibility in deciding what evidence to use when selecting your grade, which means that everything you're doing still at the moment in terms of remote learning and any tests that you do, any mock exams that you do, is all really important for showing evidence to your teacher at what level you are at and what grade you should be getting. Will we have to do mocks? I think it is highly likely that if and when we get back to school in a couple of months' time, it's highly likely that you will have to sit some sort of exam or test, and this will probably provide some of the evidence for your teachers in terms of what grade you should be receiving. How that test will look, we don't know yet. Whether the government will give some guidance about what should be included in such a test for each subject, or whether your teachers can choose which topics and which units to centre around, or just to do a complete test on the whole course. That's to be decided, but I think it's highly likely a test will take place. Will coursework still be looked at by exam boards? Again, can't be 100% sure, but my guess is that no, it won't be looked at by exam boards. But if you've already completed your coursework, then your teachers will obviously use this as part of the evidence in order to determine your overall grade. And if you're still completing it and your teachers are still asking you to complete your coursework, then it is really, really important because it is going to make up part of that evidence, so they will be looking at that closely. So it's just as important as it was before the exams were cancelled. Will practical still be part of the overall PE grade? Yes, it will. It's highly unlikely, again, that there's going to be a practical moderation anymore, because that sort of counts as an exam, and exams are being cancelled. Not impossible, but it's unlikely there'll be a moderation. But your teachers will still be using any evidence they can of you practically in order for that to make up part of your grade. So yes, it will still be used. So your teachers are probably still going to try and gain evidence when you're back at school of seeing you practically if they haven't seen it already in certain sports. And if you were doing things like putting video evidence together for certain sports and you're still able to do that, that would be worthwhile, because if you can send that to your teachers, or if they ask to see it, then it's just giving more evidence and showing the grade that you should get. I'm predicted an 8, but my grades in my tests have been grade 6. What grade will I get? I think the answer to this is that it's completely up to you still. So you'll need to start showing evidence to your teacher that you can and you are up to that predicted grade, but there's still plenty of time to do that during the remote learning programme, and then when you are hopefully back at school, through any tests and sort of final assessments that the school and your teachers put on. So I think it's really important that you start to move towards that predicted grade and working really hard to evidence to your teacher that you're worthy of a grade 8. So I think the overriding message is you still need to work as hard, if not harder, than you have worked throughout the rest of the GCSE PE course. We're not yet 100% sure what the government guidelines are going to be in terms of that teacher assessment. They could advise, for example, that teachers look at the whole of the 2 or 3 year cycle that you've gone through as you've completed your GCSE for PE, and use as much evidence as they can, or they may say that a grade should be based on some sort of end of year test, which you might do when you're back in school. Either way, everything you're doing now, part of remote learning, is going to be really important for determining your overall grade for PE. So the bottom line is you've got to keep motivated and keep working hard.